It's time for the three-notched weekly preview. Troy Trojans. Go back, listen to the Troy Boys part of the podcast if you somehow missed over that entire segment. I don't know if your audio player just skipped, but Troy comes into this one 1-1. Defense was kind of and has been their thing for so long. And this season, it seems like it may have taken a bit of a step back. They did lose their leading tackler from a year ago. They had a defensive coordinator shift, and they've just had some overall kind of schematic changes on their defensive side. Offensively, Gunnar Watson, he's still there. They're still going to run the ball a ton. They're kind of going to try and win the game by not making mistakes. Troy was picked to win the Sun Belt West, if I'm not mistaken, and they should be a very, very good team. What does JMU need to do, Bennett, for JMU to go to Troy, Alabama and win in a classic letdown spot?
It's tough. John Summerall, 8-0 at home as Troy's head coach, second-year guy. He's a big-time coach. They're a really good team. I think some of the things they've done well is limiting turnovers with Jordan McLeod at quarterback. They've done that well. If they can continue that, that's huge. Special teams this year, surprisingly good.
Amazing.
So if JMU can keep that up, that's huge. And then I think the number one sort of obvious one is you can't give up just gigantic explosive pass plays like they did against Virginia. If you can stop that, Troy was winning a lot of kind of ugly, grinded out games last year in those big spots. I think they beat South Alabama 10-6. So it's one that I think Troy is beatable, but they're also good enough and sound enough on both sides that if you make a bunch of self-inflicted mistakes, it can get ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, but Troy there, it is a little interesting, but it's also really hard to judge how good Troy is due to the fact they played Stephen F. Austin week 1 and then ranked Kansas State in week 2. But it seems that their offense is the strength of this team right now. Like, the offense has, for the most part, performed a little bit better. I know Kansas State, they only put up 13, but the defense allowed a lot against Kansas State. And then I think Stephen F. Austin put up 30. I know Bennett is going to push back here and say, well, one of them was a fumble return for a touchdown, and there was an interception that set up a short field. I get all of that, but like, it's Stephen F. Austin. You still let them put up 30. Like, I don't think Troy's defense is nowhere. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as it was last year. I think their offense is actually what's going to have to win them this game, where if JMU played Troy last year, I think the defense would have had to win that game.
And if that's the case, I'm interested to see if Troy, which is a run-first mentality, right, would Troy, knowing that its offense might have to win the game, be willing to go to more of a pass-heavy attack and go maybe against its identity to pick up a win, which Virginia at times did not seem willing to do? I think that's probably the biggest question we'll see on Saturday.